the eyes that burned into my soul. The wind blew hard across the dry alien wasteland. Cal Walker pulled his hood tighter and adjusted the scanner in his hand. The screen showed nothing, just old ruins, sand, and silence. He had been searching for scrap metal for hours. This planet, once full of alien cities, had been abandoned long ago after some unknown disaster. Now only scavengers like Cal dared to explore it. He stepped over a cracked stone pillar and looked up. The sky had gone dark. Thick clouds rolled in fast, covering the sun. Then, the sound came. A deep, humming noise, like a giant engine mixed with thunder. Cal turned around. Above the hills, something massive broke through the clouds. A ship, black, smooth, and shaped like a dagger, descended slowly. Lights flickered along its body, glowing with strange symbols he couldn't read. He ducked behind a broken wall and watched. The ship landed with a soft hiss, sending dust flying everywhere. The humming stopped. Silence returned. For a moment, nothing moved. Then the ramp opened. A figure stepped out. At first, Cal thought it was some kind of statue. It was tall, no, massive, 13 feet at least. It wore long, dark robes that flowed like liquid metal. Its skin shimmered like moonlight, and its eyes glowed gold, bright, burning, alive. The alien woman walked slowly toward the ruins. She carried no weapon. Yet every step made the ground feel heavy. Cal tried to stay quiet, but a loose stone rolled under his boot. She stopped, turned her head, and looked directly at him. He couldn't move. Those golden eyes locked on his. They didn't just see him. They searched him, through his clothes, through his fear, through his very soul. A warm feeling spread in his chest. His skin tingled. His heart pounded. Harder than ever before. Then she spoke. One word. Her voice was deep, echoing, ancient. Chosen. Cal's mouth went dry. What did you say? She took one more step forward. A soft light rose from her hand. It floated toward him like a ribbon, slow and silent. Cal backed. Away, but it touched his chest and vanished. Pain hit him, sharp and hot. He cried out and fell to his knees. His shirt tore open from the heat, revealing a strange mark glowing on his skin. A symbol had burned into his chest, a circle with lines through it pulsing with light. What did you do to me? He gasped. The priestess said nothing. Her eyes stayed locked on his, full of calm power. Suddenly, a sound broke the moment. Buzzing. From the sky, 6 silver drones appeared. Small, round, with blinking red lights. They circled around Cal like sharks. He reached for his belt, but remembered he had no weapon. Not out here. The priestess raised her hand. The drones stopped. One by one, they turned toward her. Then, they turned toward Cal and bowed. Cal's jaw dropped. What the hell is going on? The alien priestess lowered her hand. Her voice rang out again. Slow, sure. You are the one our stars whispered of. The one whose soul burns bright. You are chosen. He shook his head. I'm just a scavenger. I don't even know your language. You know enough, she said. The ground shook, not from her, but from something else. A distant roar echoed across the ruins. Lights blinked far away, red and blue. Cal knew that sound, human tech, a transport, they were coming. And if they saw him with her, they'd shoot first, ask questions never. I have to go, he said, standing up. If the patrol finds me here, I'm dead. You cannot leave, the priestess said softly. He looked at her. Why not? She stepped forward and placed her massive hand on his shoulder. Despite her size, the touch was gentle. Because you are no longer just human, she said, and your journey has already begun. Cal stared at her, at the glowing mark on his chest, and then toward the horizon where the patrol lights got closer. His world had changed in minutes. He had come here looking for scrap metal. Instead, he found a giant alien priestess, a glowing mark, and a voice that called him chosen. And now, the whole galaxy might be watching. Marked by the priestess, Cal Walker had seen many strange things while scavenging on abandoned alien worlds, but nothing could compare to what had just happened. A 13-foot-tall alien priestess had looked into his soul and marked him. She called him chosen, and now, the glowing symbol on his chest wouldn't stop burning. He ran. The mark throbbed under his skin like it was alive. His heart pounded in rhythm with it. Behind him, the priestess didn't chase. She only watched, silent, still, like she already knew where he was going. The patrol ships were getting closer. Cal could hear the deep hum of human engines, the clicking of scanners locking onto targets. He ducked behind a collapsed column and tapped his comlink, trying to send a fake ID signal to the incoming ship. Static. Nothing worked. The mark on his chest interfered with all his gear. His tools sparked, his datapad flickered, even his compass spun wildly. Then, everything around him went dark, not like night, like a shadow had swallowed the world. He turned and saw her. The priestess had moved without sound, her robes untouched by wind or dirt. She stood only feet away, yet Cal hadn't heard a single step. She raised her hand and light burst from the sky. Suddenly, the ruins around them shimmered and bent. The world twisted and then snapped into a new shape. They were no longer in the open wasteland. They were inside a temple. Cal stumbled backward, eyes wide. The air was warmer here, and the walls glowed with moving light. Symbols danced across stone like living flames. Statues of tall beings lined the hallway. All of them had eyes like the priestess. All of them looked human, but not quite. "What, is this place?" Cal asked, breathless. "This is where your spirit was meant to awaken," she said. "I didn't ask for this," he said. "I don't want to be anyone's chosen one." She stepped closer, her voice calm. "We do not choose. The flame. The flame chooses who is strong enough to carry it." A hum filled the chamber. From the walls, thin lines of light spread out, toward him. The floor beneath Cal lit up in rings. A scanner, ancient but advanced, activated around him. "No," he said, backing away. "Stop it. Whatever this is, stop." The lights passed through him. His body froze. He couldn't move. He could only watch as holographic symbols formed in the air. The priestess read them without speaking. Her eyes widened. "What? What do they say?" Cal asked. "You are not just marked," she whispered. "You carry the signal of the spark." "The what?" "The spark of the old blood. A force we believed was lost forever." Cal shook his head. "You're wrong. I'm not special. I'm just a guy who picks junk for credits. I'm nobody." "You carry a code that can wake sleeping worlds," she said. "You are more than human now." Before Cal could argue, a violent tremor rocked the temple. Stones cracked, lights flickered. The air grew cold. From above, the ceiling opened like a flower, and something descended, a drone, but not human, and not from her kind either. It was black, smooth, and fast. It didn't bow. It didn't scan. It attacked. The priestess shouted something in her language and raised a wall of glowing light. The drone fired a red beam. Cal dove. Behind a statue, barely missing a searing blast that melted stone. The priestess fought back. She moved with godlike grace. Her hand sliced through the air, and energy blades spun from her fingers. The drone dodged, hissed, and sent out a signal. 3 more drones appeared. They weren't hunting the priestess, they were hunting Cal. "They want the mark," she shouted. "They come from the deep systems, those who lost faith in life and worship only control." Cal ran. The mark on his chest burned hotter the closer they got. It was like they could smell it. He climbed broken steps, turned a corner, only to find a massive chamber at the heart of the temple. A throne, a crystal throne glowing with the same mark as his chest. The priestess entered behind him. She was wounded now, blood like silver running down her arm. "Sit," she said. "What?" "Sit." He obeyed. As soon as he sat, the throne came alive. Lights surged through the floor, and the temple responded. Ancient machines hummed to life. The drones froze mid-air, then shattered. Cal felt everything: power, memories not his own, and voices. Thousands of voices, speaking as one. "You carry our memory," they said. "You are the key." The light faded. The throne dimmed. Cal sat still, sweating, shaking. He looked at the priestess. "What did I just do?" "You opened a gate that has been sealed for 10,000 years, she said. "And now, the ones who closed it will come." He stood up slowly. "Why me?" The priestess knelt in front of him. Her golden eyes softened. "Because you said hello," she whispered. Escape from the human strike team. The throne room was still glowing. Cal stood in silence, his chest still hot with the mark that now felt like it had grown roots inside his body. It didn't burn anymore, but it pulsed. Slowly, like a second heart. The alien priestess knelt before him, one hand pressed against her wounded side. Even though she was over 13 feet tall, something in her posture showed vulnerability. Not weakness, but trust. Cal didn't understand it. He didn't even understand himself anymore. Then, sirens, sharp, familiar, human. Outside the ancient temple, blue lights lit the horizon. Dust rose in swirling clouds. The sound of magnetic boots clanged on ancient stone. Soldiers were coming. He knew those sounds. Earth's planetary recon force. Strike Team Vega. And they were here for him. The priestess rose. "They followed your energy trail," she said. "The mark burns too brightly now. You must go." "Wait, we can explain," Cal said. "They'll understand. They're human, like me." "No. They fear what they do not control, and right now you are uncontrollable." A blast hit the outside wall. The temple shook. Stones cracked. Light from the ceiling flickered. Cal turned to run, but the priestess grabbed his arm. Her grip was strong but gentle. "There is a hidden path, I will show you." They moved fast, down spiraling tunnels lit by moving glyphs. Every wall they passed reacted to Cal's presence, glowing brighter as if the temple itself was waking up. Doors opened. Old security fields lowered. The place welcomed him. "They built all of this for the Chosen?" he asked as they ran. "No," she said softly. "You built this long, long ago." "What?" But there was no time for answers. Behind them, heavy boots slammed into the ground. Human voices echoed through the halls. "Target is marked. Confirmed alien contact. Lethal force authorized." Cal's heart sank. These weren't just recon teams. These were kill squads. He had once trained under them. He knew how they operated. If they were calling him Target instead of Walker, they already considered him compromised. "They're going to kill us," he said. "They will try," she replied. "But we are not ready to die." A sharp corner revealed a sealed gateway. Symbols across the surface were pulsing in time with Cal's chest mark. The priestess stepped back. "You must open it," she said. He placed his hand on the stone. The door responded instantly. Metal slid aside, revealing a shaft filled with glowing vines and a levitation ring. Before they could step in, blaster fire hit the wall beside them. "Go!" shouted the priestess. Cal jumped into the shaft and floated downward. Below, he landed in a strange underground bay. A sleek alien pod ship hovered in the center. Not large, only big enough for two. The priestess appeared beside him seconds later. He turned to her. "We can both fit in that thing?" "Barely," she said. "But it will get us off this world." "I don't even know your name," Cal said. Panting, she hesitated. "Names are sacred among my kind, but you may call me Elira." Before he could reply, a grenade landed nearby. Elira grabbed Cal and shielded him with her body. The explosion rocked the room, but her robes absorbed the blast like armor. Smoke filled the air. Through the haze, 5 soldiers entered, fully armed. Helmets, locked. No faces. "Step away from the alien, Cal Walker," one of them ordered. "You are infected. You will be quarantined." "I'm not infected," Cal shouted. "She's not the threat. You don't understand what's happening here. He's been mind-controlled," another soldier snapped. "Take the shot." They raised their weapons, but before they could fire, the temple itself reacted. The lights dimmed. A massive hum shook the chamber, and then the walls screamed. A sound, not human, not machine, rang out. A deep frequency that cracked glass and dropped the soldiers to their knees. Their helmets sparked. Systems glitched. Only Cal and Alira remained standing. "What was that?" Cal gasped. "The temple protects its air," Alira said. She pulled him into the pod ship. As soon as they sat, the door sealed. The ship lifted off with a silent pulse, shooting through a vertical tunnel toward the surface. Cal looked out the small window. The ruins shrank below them. Soldiers scattered like ants. The sky opened wide. Then the ship jerked, violently. Red lights flashed on the console. "We're locked," Alira said. "A tether drone caught us." "Can you shake it?" "Not in this form," she said. She leaned forward and pressed her palm to the control crystal. The ship responded, not like a machine, but like a living creature. Parts of it shifted, transforming midair into a different shape. Sleeker. Faster. The drone fell away. They broke through the clouds and into orbit. Only now did Cal allow himself to breathe. He turned to her. "Where are we going?" She stared, out the window. "To the last sanctuary of my people. A hidden world where your true purpose can begin to awaken." Cal looked down at the earth shrinking behind them. He had no gear, no allies, no answers. But he had her. And whatever he had become. It was enough to make gods bow and soldiers fear him, the forgotten planet of the chosen. The stars outside the alien pod ship stretched like white threads as they jumped through the wormhole. Cal Walker sat in silence, staring at the glowing mark on his chest. It didn't burn now. It pulsed like it was counting down to something. Beside him, Alira, the 13-foot-tall priestess, was quiet too. Her eyes were closed, but she wasn't resting. She was listening. He could tell. Whispering energies filled the air around her. It was like the ship itself spoke through her. She was part of it just as much as the control crystal pulsing beneath her hand. Finally, Cal spoke. "Where are we going?" Her golden eyes opened slowly. "To a place erased from the stars, a world hidden by those who feared it." "Why?" "Because it remembers." The ship shook gently. Then the stars stopped stretching. Real space returned. In front of them, a planet. It was unlike anything Cal had seen. Wrapped in layers of blue mist glowing softly, broken rings circled it like shattered armor. Large floating stones hovered above its surface, each one covered in ruins. Strange lightning flickered between them. "What is this place?" he asked. She answered, almost in a whisper. "The cradle of the chosen." The ship descended through the mist. As they dropped lower, Cal saw ancient cities, massive, built for giants like Alira, but long abandoned. Trees had grown into steel towers. Rivers flowed through collapsed domes. The place felt dead, but also alive in ways he didn't understand. The ship landed near a glowing pyramid. Alira turned to him. "No one has walked these grounds in 10,000 years. Until now." They stepped out. The air was thick and heavy with silence. Even the wind seemed careful not to disturb the peace. The pyramid before them had no doors, just a sloped ramp leading inside. Cal followed her up the steps. Each one lit up under his feet. "I'm still trying to understand," he said quietly. "You said I built this?" Alira paused at the top. "Not you," she said, "but a man who looked like you. A human who came through the stars long ago. Our oldest writings say, he came from Earth but not from your time. Time travel? Something greater. He came before your world even knew the stars existed." They entered the heart of the pyramid. Inside, the walls shimmered with floating symbols, holograms of star systems, strange creatures, and battles. Long forgotten played like memories in the air, and then Cal saw a hologram of himself, or someone who looked exactly like him, standing in front of the same throne he had sat on days ago. What the hell? This was the first chosen, Elira said. He bonded with our star core. He carried the spark. And when the darkness came, he vanished, after hiding what remained of our people. And you think I'm him? No, she said softly. But you carry his imprint. The mark on his chest flared brighter. Suddenly the room changed. Light swirled around them. The holograms vanished and were replaced by a glowing walkway. A hallway that didn't exist seconds ago. This place reacts to you, she said. It remembers. They followed the path into a lower chamber, deeper, colder. At the center was a sealed pod, ancient, cracked, covered in dust and vines. But as Cal approached, the vines burned away. The pod lit up. Inside was a child, an alien girl sleeping. She was small, maybe 5 feet tall, with skin like Elira's, pale silver with faint glowing veins. Her eyes were closed. A breathing mask covered her mouth. Tubes led into the floor. Cal turned to Elira. She's alive. She is one of the Starborn, Elira said. Children saved before the collapse. Placed in stasis, waiting for the chosen to wake them. Cal stepped closer. His mark began to glow, stronger than ever. It spread across his arm, lighting his fingers. The pod responded. The breathing slowed. She can feel you, Elira whispered. What happens if I wake her? You bring back our future. Cal hesitated. And if I fail? Elira looked into his eyes. Then she dies, and our kind with her. Before he could decide, a sound echoed through the chamber. A low droning hum, not from the pod, from the sky. I thought no one knew about this planet, Cal said. They didn't, Elira said, but something ancient has felt your awakening. The ground trembled. From the walls, vines pulled back. The air grew cold. A shadow moved across the light. In the distance, through the open ceiling, a black shape hovered in orbit. A ship. Not human. Not hers. Older. Bigger. Silent. It followed your spark, Elira whispered. It has waited longer than we have. What is it? A god, or what some once called a god. It was the end of the first chosen. Now, it comes for you. Cal looked at the pod again. The alien girl stirred, her eyes twitching behind shut lids. He reached forward and placed his hand on the glass. The pod opened, air hissed out. The girl gasped, her eyes flying open. Bright silver. Just like Elira's. She saw Cal and smiled. Then she spoke. 2 words. You came. When shadows came for her, the alien girl blinked slowly, her silver eyes wide with wonder. Her first breath outside the pod was shaky. But when she looked at Cal Walker, she smiled like she'd been waiting just for him. You came, she whispered again, her voice soft like morning wind. Cal knelt beside the pod. You know me? The girl nodded weakly. Your light. It was in my dreams. Cal looked at Elira. The priestess stood still, her golden eyes locked on the sky above them, her body tense, her fingers twitching near the hilt of the curved blade hidden under her robes. What's wrong? Cal asked. She didn't look away from the sky. The shadow is coming. It knows she's awake now. A low growl vibrated through the stone under their feet. Dust fell from the ceiling. Somewhere far above, metal twisted and cracked like ancient, gates being torn open. Cal helped the girl out of the pod. She was light, fragile, like her bones weren't fully solid, yet something about her felt enormous. Like inside that small body, something powerful slept. Elira, Cal said. What exactly is coming? She finally turned to him. There were many who once worshipped the spark, but some chose another path. They rejected life, rejected hope. They gave themselves to the void. One of them became something beyond death. The girl suddenly gripped Cal's hand. Her fingers were cold. "It's awake," she whispered. The pyramid shook again. From above, a deep, echoing tone blasted through the air. Too low for the ears, but felt in the bones. Cal winced. The girl trembled. Even Alira gritted her teeth. The sound carried a voice, not made of words, but made of hunger. "Return the child." Cal felt his chest burn. The mark flared violently. "I think it's talking to me," he said. "No," Alira replied. "It's talking through you." Suddenly, the ceiling above them exploded. A beam of black light cut down like a blade. Stone melted. The floor cracked in half. Cal pulled the girl into his arms and rolled away as a massive figure dropped into the chamber from the smoke. It had no face, no legs, just long, coiled limbs and a twisting form that shimmered like oil. Its body whispered in hundreds of voices. It didn't walk. It slithered forward, floating above the floor, drawn to the child. "You are not of the living," Alira shouted. "Go back to the dark." The creature turned to her, then lunged. Alira moved like a storm. Her blade flashed, ancient and glowing white. She slashed once, twice, faster than sight. The creature hissed, recoiling as dark smoke bled from the cuts. But it wasn't finished. One of its tendrils wrapped around her leg and slammed her into the wall. She cried out, bones crunching against the stone. "Alira!" Cal shouted. He backed away, shielding the child. But the creature turned to them now. It reached toward Cal. Its limb didn't touch him, just hovered near his chest. The mark glowed, brighter than ever. "You carry his echo," the voices said. Cal felt something sharp press inside his mind. Like fingers digging into his thoughts, he screamed, and the child suddenly stepped forward. "No!" Cal grabbed her arm. "Stay behind me." But she pushed his hand away. "I remember now," she said softly. "I remember what I am." The creature roared. The child's body lit with blue light. Symbols ran across her skin like fire. Her eyes flared silver. Her small hands lifted and space itself bent around her. The creature screamed, a true scream of pain. It tried to flee. Too late. A ring of light erupted from the child's feet, tearing the chamber apart. The black beast was slammed backward into the wall. Chunks of rock fell on its body as it wailed. The light pulsed again, and then silence. Smoke filled the room. The creature's form lay still, crushed under rubble and glowing chains of light. The child collapsed into Cal's arms. Alira limped forward, her arm bent, blood dripping from her mouth. She unlocked the seal of memory. Cal looked down at the girl. She was breathing, but barely. What did she do? She remembered who she is. One of the Starborn, our protectors, our final hope. "I thought I was the key." "You are," Alira said. "But even a key must protect the lock." Suddenly, the mark on Cal's chest shifted again. It spread wider, up to his neck and down his arm. His vision blurred. The air shimmered. He saw a flash of something else. Another world. Thousands of years ago. Another him. Standing beside another Alira. And this child, fighting against a sky filled with darkness. Then everything snapped back. He dropped to one knee. "What was that?" "Your memories," Alira said, kneeling beside him. "They're returning." "How is that possible?" "Because you were never just you, Cal Walker." Behind them, the black creature groaned. It wasn't dead. It was changing. Its form was pulling itself back together, slowly, broken but alive. "We can't kill it," Cal whispered. "No," Alira said, "but we can seal it, if we reach the core." "What core?" "The heart of this world, where the first spark was born. If you and the child stand together there, it can be locked away. For now." Cal stood, still holding the child. "Then take us there." Alira placed her hand on his back. "Once we go in, We may not come out. Cal looked into her eyes, then back at the trembling girl in his arms. He nodded. Let's finish this. The trial of the chosen one. The world beneath Cal Walker's feet felt ancient, alive, like it. Breathed with the pulse of something buried too deep to name. He held the starborn child close, her small frame limp in his arms. Her glowing veins had dimmed since she had unleashed that storm of light. Now her breathing was shallow. Elira led the way through a wide, spiraling tunnel. Its walls shimmered with slow-moving energy, reacting to every step they took. Ancient. Carvings lit up around them, showing war, death, and rebirth. The same mark that burned on Cal's chest was carved into every surface. This is the spine of light, Elira said softly. It leads to the core. The final test waits there. What kind of test? Cal asked. One you cannot prepare for. Cal didn't like that answer. And what happens if I fail? Elira didn't look at him. Then all we have saved will be lost. He swallowed hard. They reached a door unlike any Cal had seen before. It wasn't made of metal or stone, or even energy. It was made of memory. Ghost-like figures stood within it, frozen in time, humans, aliens, warriors, children, all with marks like his. Their eyes flickered as if trapped between sleep and awareness. The chosen who came before, Elira whispered. Some succeeded. Others became part of the seal. Cal stepped forward. His chest burned. The door responded, turning to mist. Beyond it, the core awaited. It wasn't a room. It was a sky. They stepped into a vast, floating platform hanging above an endless void of starlight and storms. Huge towers made of crystal rose around them, humming like music. And in the center, a pool of living light swirled like a galaxy. Cal's knees weakened at the sight. The air here was thick with power. And something else. Something watching. Elira touched his shoulder. You must step into the pool. It will test your truth. What if I drown? Then you were never worthy. Cal took a breath. He placed the child on a smooth stone, her hand still gripping, his shirt. Then he walked into the light. It was not water. It was everything. He fell through space, through time, through pain. He opened his eyes in a battlefield, but not one he had ever seen. Smoke filled the sky. Two armies clashed, one full of silver and light, the other dark and twisted. At the center, a man who looked exactly like Cal fought with glowing blades in both hands. His movements were perfect. Every swing sent waves of light into the enemy. The man turned and looked directly at Cal. You are the echo, the man said. And you are not ready. The world shattered. Now he stood in fire, buildings burned, humans screamed. He saw himself again, but this time, older, hard, bitter, covered in armor. Leading soldiers through cities, wiping out alien refugees. I protected Earth, the older Cal shouted. I saved billions. You destroyed millions, a voice whispered. The city exploded into ash. Next, he floated in space, alone, drifting, his body frozen, his chest empty. No one left, nothing remained, only silence. The voice came again. What is your truth, Cal Walker? He shouted into the dark. I don't know anymore. The stars burned. Then, warmth. He stood in a small room, kitchen, the smell of something sweet in the air. A woman hummed softly as she stirred a bowl. Mom, Cal whispered. She turned, smiling. You always asked what you were meant for, she said gently. I thought it would be something big, he replied. She walked to him and placed her hand on his heart. Sometimes, the biggest thing is carrying the smallest hope. Tears welled in his eyes. The room faded. Cal awoke, gasping. He lay beside the pool. His mark had changed. It was no longer just light. It now had a dark ring inside it. like night and day, sharing the same heart. Elira stood, nearby. The child was awake again, sitting up, her eyes wide. "You passed," Elira said quietly, "but you carry both halves now, the bright and the shadow." Cal sat up slowly. "That thing in the temple, it's coming back, isn't it?" She nodded. "Yes. Stronger." The temple trembled beneath them. Lightning cracked across the void. Sky far above, the shape of the dark god entity reappeared, twisting, shifting, no longer hiding. "You cannot seal what you cannot master." The voice was louder now, colder. "I don't need to master it," Cal said. He stood, lifting the child into his arms again. "I need to choose." Light sparked from his body. Elira stepped forward. "Together, the three of us can awaken the beacon. It will create a seal strong enough to hold the entity, but it will drain you, possibly forever." Cal looked down at the child. She looked back and said simply, "I trust you." He looked at Elira. She bowed her head. "You've come farther than any before." Cal took a deep breath and stepped into the center of the platform. The beacon, hidden until now, rose from the floor, a massive crystal sphere burning with power. He placed his hand on it. The child placed hers beside his. Elira added hers last. The storm roared. The dark god screamed. The beacon exploded in light. The light surged into the sky, piercing the shadow creature. It roared, flailing, but it could not escape. Chains of living light shot from the ground, from the stars, from the planet itself. They wrapped around the god thing, sealing it, pushing it back into the void. The mark on Cal's chest burned like fire, then shattered into light and vanished. He collapsed. Darkness took him. Rise of the human star born. Nothingness. That was all Cal Walker knew. No stars, no pain, no weight, just silence and light. He drifted through it, like a feather in endless space. But he wasn't afraid. Not anymore. He had seen what waited in the dark, and he had faced it. He had protected the child. He had sealed the god. He had passed the trial. But he didn't know if he had survived. Then, a voice. Soft, gentle, familiar. "You did it, Cal." His eyes opened. Above him, clouds of glowing dust swirled in slow motion. The sky was purple and gold. Birds with silver wings flew overhead, singing in a language he didn't understand, but it felt beautiful. He sat up slowly. He wasn't in the core anymore. He was in a floating garden, on a platform of crystal. Trees grew sideways, flowers sang, and stars hung close like lanterns, and beside him, the child. She stood barefoot in the grass, her long silver hair dancing in the wind. Her skin no longer glowed faintly. It shone. She was stronger now, taller, older somehow, and her eyes were human. Cal stared. "You changed," she smiled. "So did you." He looked down at himself. His mark was gone, but something else remained. His skin shimmered softly, not with light, with memory. He could feel it inside him. The knowledge of the first chosen, the histories of the starborn, the voices of those who had fought and failed, now living in him. "What happened?" he asked. "You died," she said calmly, "but not completely." He blinked. "I died?" "For a moment, long enough to break your limits. You became something between what you were and what we needed." He stood slowly, feeling no pain. "Where's Elira?" "I'm here." The priestess stepped from behind a flowering tree. Her robe was torn, her skin scarred, but her golden eyes were full of pride. "You became more than chosen," she said. "You became starborn." Cal tried to laugh, but it caught in his throat. "That sounds impossible." So was surviving the core. So was awakening the beacon. So was saving her. The child stepped forward and took his hand. "I am the Last of the starborn children, she said. But with you, I am not alone. Cal looked around. The garden, the sky, the living stars. Is this real? He asked. It is a fragment of the old sanctuary, Elira said, created by your spark, a place of peace between the galaxies. Time moves differently here. How long have I been out? Elira hesitated. 7 years. Cal froze. 7 years? In your world, she said. Here. Only a few days. He shook his head slowly. So Earth is still turning, she said. But change is coming. He turned back to the child. What happens now? She pointed to the sky. A portal shimmered far above. Not just a way out, but a way forward. Ships moved beyond it, not warships, not invaders, explorers, workers, children. It's time to bring our people back, she said. To rebuild. With you. You don't need me, Cal said softly. We do, Elira said. Not as a weapon, not as a savior, but as a bridge. He looked at the ground beneath his feet. I never asked for this, he said. Elira smiled. Neither did the stars. She reached out and placed something in his hand. A small piece of crystal. Warm. Alive. It pulsed once, then settled. It's a seed of memory, she said. With it, you can speak to every world we once lost. You can help them remember who they were. He closed his fingers around it. And what if they don't want to remember? Elira stepped back. Then you show them what a human can become. The portal opened wider. Cal looked down at his hands, a scavenger once. Now, something far more. He turned to the girl. What do I call you? She smiled. I don't remember my old name, but I'd like to choose a new one. He nodded. Then, choose. She looked at him, her eyes steady. Hope. He smiled. Then let's go, Hope. Together they walked toward the light. Earth. 3 months later, the skies over New Geneva cracked with golden light. People screamed. Soldiers ran to their stations. But the ships that came down weren't warships. They were star gardens, carriers of life. And Cal Walker stood at the front of the lead vessel, taller now, wiser, stronger, not quite alien, not quite human. Behind him walked Hope, and beside them, Elira, the priestess robed in silver and peace. The Earth leaders approached, weapons lowered but hands trembling. Cal raised his hand. I'm not here to fight, he said. I'm here to share what we've forgotten. And who are you? One of the generals asked. Cal looked up at the sky. I'm just a man, he said, but I've seen what's out there. I've felt what it means to be chosen. And I've learned one thing. What's that? He smiled gently. That humanity was never meant to walk alone.